I'm just setting off on the scooter today to go visit a temple that's nearby. My original plan for today was to go to the Blue Cave, but when I woke up this morning, it was really cloudy and it looked like it was going to rain all day. So I decided to postpone the trip again. But now that the afternoon has arrived, the sun has come out and the clouds have disappeared. So I thought I would go for a quick day trip inside Mae Sot. As I said, I'm heading to a temple, and I would tell you the name of it, except I couldn't really find it. I found the name in Thai, and I think I found a translation in English, but I don't want to embarrass myself by trying to say it. It was kind of a long, complicated name that I wouldn't be able to say, but perhaps we can get the name when I arrive there. It might be an interesting ride to get there because the route I'm going to follow will take me past Friendship Bridge number 2, and I've never been out that way before. I sort of have to cross over that highway that leads to Friendship Bridge number 2, and I'm not entirely sure how easy it is to do that, but I'll find out when I get there. What interested me about this temple is that from the photographs it has a lot of rocky outcroppings. I don't mean anything like mountains, but kind of hills with, as I said, rocky outcroppings, and a lot of the statues and the shrines are built up on top of these rocky outcroppings. So it looked like a relatively scenic place to go check out. I have kind of a funny story about this temple, actually, because I first heard about it when I was at the This Is a Book coffee shop. I was chatting with the woman there, and she saw me wandering around with my GoPro. So she asked me about that, and she found out that I should put videos up on YouTube sometimes. So she started suggesting places where I could go. And she said there were 2 beautiful temples nearby. Well, she said there were 2 beautiful temples and I should go see them. And then we embarked on what I swear was a 30-minute conversation about the name of this temple, because she told it to me in Thai, but I could not commit it to memory no matter how hard I tried. Okay. Bit of a interruption here because we've reached the highway that I talked about, and the Friendship Bridge is off to the left. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of heavy truck traffic all of a sudden. So there's a major center for, cargo terminal. So I guess all the trucks in and out of Myanmar pass through here. But I believe I can go to the right, and if I follow this, I should be able to cross over the highway. I'm going to find out. But anyway, this woman was telling me the name of this temple in Thai, and I finally asked her, could she tell me what the name is in English? Give me some kind of an English name, because there's no way can she write it down? I asked her. So she got out a pad of paper and she wrote down the name of the temple and she handed it to me, and I looked at it but it was in Thai. She wrote it down in Thai. So that I tried to do like the Google Translate on Thai quite often, but it never works. But yeah, Google Translate on Thai just doesn't work. All I end up with is gibberish. And when I try to do it, I can do it 5 times and I'll get 5 different translations, and none of them make any sense at all. So I just give up on that. So my helper then went onto the internet. She was going to get onto the internet and find the name for me in English. And as I said, 30 minutes later, she was still looking. And looking, she had all these websites open, all kinds of different websites giving information about this temple, apparently. And I just assumed there had to be an English name in there somewhere. But no matter how much I looked on these websites, I couldn't find an English name anywhere. Look at where I am. This is crazy. I've got a red light, so I'm obeying the traffic signal. But none of the trucks are obeying the red light. They're just going right through it. So I don't know if this is a real red light or not. But anyway, I'm gonna wait. And I'm not sure if I can turn left here or not, but I think I can. As I said, I knew this was going to be a complicated thing to do, to try and get across this highway. Big highways are always so complicated when you try and get in and out of a city. They're like the modern day barrier. Man, look at all these trucks. I keep hearing about the, oh, green light, green light. There we go. And I guess I could go right across here. Hey, I made it across. And it looks like I'm going in the right direction because you can see some hills to the left. And the temples I'm looking for are up there in the hills somewhere. But anyway, this woman was looking all over the internet. And I eventually came over to look at her computer screen to see if I could find an English name. And I took all kinds of pictures of the screens she was looking at because there were some words in English there, and I thought they might be the names of the temple. And I took all those photographs back to the guest house, and I looked up the names one by one by one on the internet, and I could make no sense out of any of them, nothing. It turns out all the names that I took pictures of were not names of the temples. They were actually names of either the websites or they were the names of the people who took the pictures that we were looking at. So then I just started doing random Google Map searches for any kind of temple in this area that looked like these temples that she showed me. But I couldn't find them anywhere. And eventually I just gave up. But then the other day I went back to This Is a Book. Boy, am I ever going to be able to get off this highway? I don't know. I went back to This Is a Book and she asked me, oh, what did you think of the temples? Didn't you think they were beautiful? And I had to confess that I had no idea where they were. I couldn't figure out anything about them. But then I got a bit more information from her, and she told me that the temples were near Friendship Bridge number 2. So with that information, I went back to Google Maps and I found a temple near Friendship Bridge number 2 that was kind of in a hill, and that is the long story of how I finally found this intersection where I'm at right now. And I'm guessing that those 2 green signs over there, one says 400, one says 200, they're probably pointing towards the temples. Anyway, I'm going to turn here and then once I get safely off the highway, check my maps again, and see where I am. Yeah, I remember this from when I did my map check. I had to go by a gravel pit kind of place. Oh, we've got a pond on the left. Wonder if that's industrial or is that a public park of some kind. Looks very green over there on the left. There's a nice bridge over the water. Oh, that's cool. Ooh. Don't know if we can capture this on the GoPro, but this crane is using almost a sled. And he's dragging the sled up the hill, scooping up the gravel, and then dumping it down on the other side. See that sled? Oh, look at that. Down it goes all the way to the bottom. And then he's dragging it all the way back up to the top again. Very cool. I've often said in the past that a crane operator would be a fun job. I like jobs that take precision and you develop a skill and no one else has, like operating a crane like that. This guy, if he calls in sick, I don't think there are too many people that could just step in and do his job for him. It'd be fun to sit there in that crane all day digging up sand. There's that park and the lake that I was talking about, and I have no idea what this could be. When I was looking at Google Maps, I didn't see anything like this, like nothing like a public park. And it's right across the road from the gravel industrial site. There's my scooter, and the guy in the crane still hard at work. I still haven't been able to figure out what that park is. I don't have any mobile data for my phone, so I can never check anything when I'm out driving around. And I'm gonna have to change that. I'm gonna pick up some data for the next month and just use it for Google Maps when I'm out driving around. So I don't need to buy very much. I hate buying a lot because I never use it up in time and then it expires and then I lose it all. Okay, so here's a sign that hopefully is about wherever I am. I thought it would have information about the park, but it doesn't. It just says Mae Kit Company Limited. So I guess that's this sand and cement and gravel company. Okay, well, I'm supposed to go through this, and guess I'll give it a try and see if someone tells me I can't go this way. Sure, it looks like a direction where someone like me would not be allowed to go. But as far as I can tell, I'm supposed to go through here. I love industrial sites though. I mean, if you put me on an around the world trip and said I could go to all the sites I want to, I would probably skip a lot of the big tourist attractions. I'd be much more interested in visiting places like this. You know, like getting a guided tour of a cement, sand and gravel outfit like this. I find stuff like this more interesting than big tourist attractions. That would be cool. Anyway, yeah, big pile of gravel up ahead of me. Yeah, they've made a real effort to make this place green and attractive. I've got like a sprinkler system on all these grassy parts. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is not the normal way of getting to this temple. And yeah, this is what Google Maps told me to do. I'm going to spin the GoPro around, take in some of these buildings. Look at that industrial building. Very cool. And piles of gravel. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time actually out in gravel pits because the Dutch community that I grew up in, a couple of families owned a gravel company. And as kids, as teenagers, we would take our bikes out to these gravel pits and we could ride our bikes through them and build ramps and do all those things that teenagers do. And there was a garbage dump in the same area because the same company also collected garbage. And we'd always go rummaging through the garbage dumps looking for treasures. And I remember as a really, really young boy, I found a little bit of a chandelier, like one of those fancy chandeliers that has glass, diamond-shaped objects for the light to pass through, for glittering light. And I had never seen anything like that before in my life. I'd never seen a chandelier. And I wondered, had I really found a bunch of diamonds? And for a giddy hour or so, I thought I was fabulously rich, that I'd found all these diamonds in the garbage dump. I can't remember who I showed them to or who I asked, but I eventually learned that they were just glass and they were not actually diamonds. Okay, well, I think where I need to go is into those hills behind the gravel pits, so the only way out of here is that road right over there. So let's get out of here. So where in the world am I? Look at that, very cool. Well, time for another map check. Well, it will probably come as no surprise to learn that I'm in the wrong place entirely. In fact, I'm not supposed to be here at all. I'm starting to see signs that say authorized personnel only, danger, gravel, quarry area, that kind of thing. So, I'm gonna go back, work my way out of the quarry without getting arrested, and see if I can find my way. Well, just to state my case that I'm not a total moron, according to Google Maps, this is the direction I'm supposed to go. Like the actual route following a road, looking at my position on the satellite view, points right through that giant pile of concrete, and there is no road there. So I was following the map correctly. It's just that the map is incorrect. There is no road heading in that direction. So, as far as I can tell, I have to work my way all the way back to the highway and come at the temple from a different direction. Very cool detour, though. Well, say goodbye to the gravel dump. We're heading back to the highway. Okay, no right turn, so I guess that means I can make a left turn. That's cool, because that's the way I need to go. And anytime I can find a normal country road going to the left, I think I'm going to take it. Well, I'm going much further than I thought I would have to go to find a road. I hope one shows up pretty soon, because I'm leaving that temple area far, far behind now. I have no idea if I'll even be able to work my way back again. There's got to be a road up ahead somewhere. I actually recognize this area. I came out here walking one time. I was walking on the other side of the road, just on the right there. Oh, here's a road of some kind. And that means another map check. I wouldn't mind getting off this highway. So I think I'll take this road no matter what. Okay, the course has been plotted, and as far as I can tell, I can work my way down this road and wind my way towards these temples. I may even see both temples, because I'll be passing one temple on the way to the one that I picked out for today. Look at this. This is nice. Little country road. It's paved. Nice and quiet. No more gravel trucks. I don't think I quite finished my story about the woman who told me about these temples, because I eventually found one of the temples through that long procedure that I described earlier. But she had told me about two temples, and one of them was easily identifiable because it had one of those rocks that so many Buddhist temples have. It's a huge boulder that's balancing right on a knife edge. It looks like it could fall over at any point. Various temples have these, and the rocks sometimes are huge. They're all different sizes, but they generally paint them gold. So it's kind of like a golden hanging rock temple. So I went looking for one of those temples here in this area, and I could never find it. I had no idea what to call it, so I couldn't find it by its name. And I'm wondering whether I'll just sort of stumble across it. Oh, it's harvest time out here. I just saw a whole bunch of people in the fields harvesting. Yeah, I always have mixed feelings when I see that, because you do have the angle of farming. It's beautiful, it's amazing, it's the stuff of life, working in the fields, harvesting the beautiful crops when they're ready. And that's all wonderful, but I've been out in fields harvesting things a little bit myself in my lifetime, and it is brutally hard work. So I see these people out there working, and on the one hand I think, wow, those people are salt of the earth, doing work so that food ends up on our tables. But then I also have this feeling of like, oh man, those poor people out there in the hot sun working all day harvesting, because I know just how hard that work is. It's brutally difficult work. Uh-oh. I don't remember a T intersection. Oh, okay. It's T this way. Okay, the sign had it the wrong way around. I have to keep going straight. A beautiful area. This is really nice. This is an area I'd love to be out walking, but of course it would have been a long walk to get out here. Whew. They're not messing around with their speed bumps. Ooh. You wouldn't want to hit that at high speed. I made a mental note that if I went over a river, I had gone too far. And I kind of just went over a river. So another map check. It turns out that my memory is not quite as awful as I think it is. My eyes are pretty sharp because I did just cross a little river, and that meant I'd gone too far. Check out this old floodgate lifting mechanism. Very cool. I can't imagine that any of that is still operational, but you never know. So where I passed by that T intersection, I was supposed to turn the other way. Okay, yeah, right here. I apologize for the same camera angle for this whole trip. I just have the scooter sitting on the front, the camera on the front of the scooter the whole time. But I've got so much I have to think about right now. I can't really expend brain power and energy moving the camera around to different spots on the scooter. Just gonna leave it right where it is. What is this? The Janita Company Limited. No idea what that is. Another company, Life Impact Thailand. What could that be? Huh. And I know that this kind of a video is pretty unusual for YouTube, where I'm documenting all of the trials and tribulations of getting somewhere. Whoa, there's some big dogs there. Whew. Uh-oh. Dirt road. A true travel video, of course, would have me right at the temple. The video would open, oh, look at this beautiful temple. But when I see videos like that, I always wonder, how did the guy get there? How do you find that temple? What were the logistics like for getting to that place? And as you can see, sometimes the logistics are a bit complicated. Perhaps overly complicated. There's no way this is the normal way of getting there. Hello. I don't think I have to say it, do I? Time for a map check. Believe it or not, my map check tells me I'm in the right spot. This is where I'm supposed to be. And this road should just gently start curving to the left, and then it'll start curving down to the south. And I should be passing by these two temples. But of course, I have been led astray in the past by Google Maps, so we shall see. As I was saying, I'm always interested in how people get places. So even if someone goes to a new country, I didn't want to drive by those dogs at speed because it looked like they would definitely have tried to take a bite out of my legs. So I just stopped and let them get used to me. And then slowly I moved on. I was just saying that if someone goes to another country, I kind of want them to back up the story. I'm such a logistics guy. I want to know how they got the visa, how much the visa cost, the flight to get there, all the preparations they made, all those sorts of things. And then I want to see the journey to the airport, getting out of the airport. If a traveler just sort of shows up at a beautiful spot in Nepal, that's amazing, but I always want them to back up. And I want to find out how they got to Nepal to begin with. So in this case, this is how I got to the temple. Oh, another little bit of an intersection, but wow, beautiful countryside. This is so nice. I'm supposed to be curving in the other direction though. I'm curving, but I'm curving in the wrong way. And we all know what that means. Map check. Doug made another good call, because I am heading in the wrong direction. It was kind of weird because I thought I had to follow the main road, and this is definitely, at least out here, this is the main road. But the one I was supposed to go down, the one that curves to the left, is this jungle trail over here. So this is where I'm supposed to be going. This is kind of crazy considering from the photographs, these temples look quite beautiful. And I think a lot of people go there. And there's no way that people drive their cars this way to get to them. So there must be another road, but I can't see another road. This is the only road that I can see. I had to stop to change the battery in the GoPro. And it's just so nice to be sitting here without the noise of the scooter engine. It's something you forget after a while when you're driving, when you're riding the scooter. You just sort of get used to the noise of the engine and the wind, and then you suddenly turn everything off, and it's perfect silence out here. So nice. But that's not going to get me to the temple or anywhere. So we got to fire up the engine. And let's go. Finding I have to be quite careful here because this is a bad road, but also on my left there's a barbed wire. I don't want to veer off to the left and run into that all that barbed wire. Oh boy, this is a very tricky little spot. That would definitely be hard to get through in after a heavy rain in the rainy season. That would have been a mud hole. Okay, this is really strange. I think my Google Maps reading ability has to improve, or this temple really is not that well known. Okay. No, I've reached the end of the road. This is as far. The trail just completely disappears here. This cannot be anywhere close to right. Huh. Well, this is a mystery, because as I said on my map, there is no other road. This is the road. Oh. Well, map check again, as I keep doing. But I don't think my map check is going to save me this time, because I don't see any alternatives. Well, I will report back. Map check is done, and as far as I can tell, I'm in the right place. The temple, both temples are just ahead of me on this road or this trail, but it's not navigable by any vehicle that I'm aware of. So I've got my scooter parked there. I kind of spoke with this family in this farmhouse and asked them it'd be okay if I just parked my scooter there, and they said okay. And they seemed to be okay with me going in this direction. They seem to know where I'm going. So I think they know that there's a beautiful temple here and a foreigner must be going to the temple. So everything seems natural, but I have to continue on foot because, yeah, look at this trail ahead of me. Look at that. There's no... I can't even imagine. I don't even know why there's tire tracks for two wheels. I mean, could this ever have been open to any kind of two-wheel traffic? Could anything have made it up here other than a tank? I have no idea. Just did another map check just to make doubly sure, because I have to climb uphill and I don't want to be climbing uphill for a couple of kilometers and then find out I went in the wrong direction. So I checked again, and assuming the satellites know where I am, I'm in the right place. So just hiking up this trail. Luckily, my legs have recovered from my climb up to the cave at Mae Sot. That hike to the top, it wasn't a huge hike or anything like that, but by the time I finished it, and then by the next morning, my calf muscles were tightened up. They were so tight I could barely walk. I was hobbling around. But it's been a couple of days since then. My legs have loosened up again. So I'm able to walk up this trail without too much trouble. No, this has certainly been a surprise. I was sitting in my guest house room, and yeah, it was like midday, maybe 1 o'clock, something like that. And I thought, you know, the sun has come out. Let's hop on the scooter and let's just zoom to this temple. According to Google Maps, I'd be there in 24 minutes. Yeah, zoom there, take a look at the temple, zoom back again. I was not expecting a journey quite like this one. I don't know how far I need to go even. Okay, note to self, get data, because if you don't have data and you try to use Google Maps when you're out here, it can't actually calculate distances for you. It can show you the map and show you your position on that map, but that's all it can do. It can't show you satellite view, street view, distances, or anything like that. So if I'm going to be out wandering around like this, I might as well get as much information as I can. So I need data. Yeah, I think I've stopped walking because I think I'm at another crossroads. I'm on a footpath now, but I think the way I'm going, the big footpath is not the one I want. I think I want the teeny tiny footpath over there. So another map check. This time my instinct was wrong. I'm supposed to continue on this main path for a while. And I will be getting to spots where other trails connect with it and veer in different directions, but I should basically stay on this path going around this mountain until I get to the temples. But I don't know how far they are. A couple kilometers, maybe, something like that. It'll be funny arrive at the temple and find out that it's sitting right on this main highway that I just didn't know about for some reason. But I won't be able to drive home on that highway because I had to park my scooter back there on this rough road. But getting back out again shouldn't be too much of a problem, assuming all this happens before the sun goes down. What time is it? It's only 2 o'clock, so plenty of time. Funny thing is, when the woman told me about these temples, she kept talking about beautiful views of Mae Sot, and there was this idea that you're up high, and I just didn't know about any hills at all near Mae Sot where you would get any kind of a view. But already, you can see back there. That's not really Mae Sot. Mae Sot is a little bit further away. But you can see I've already climbed up quite a bit. And I'm looking down on the plain. So, yeah, these hills, I think that's where the temples are, over top of these hills over there. So I wasn't aware of these hills because they're not really in Mae Sot. As I said, they're north of the main highway at Friendship Bridge number 2. I've taken a wrong turn again, and I have to turn around and go back. But I did find myself at quite a nice lookout point. So you can see that I have gained a little bit of altitude. Not a whole lot, but get a nice view of this farming area. And I have to turn back and find a trail that goes to the right and up this hill. And I see a bunch of trees at the top of this hill. And maybe that is the first temple. It's not the temple that I had planned on visiting, but as I said, there's one temple in between me and the temple that I had planned on visiting. So maybe I have to pass through that other temple first. I missed this because, to be honest, I didn't see any kind of a trail at all. I mean, come on. This is starting to turn into a bit of a joke. The trails are getting so small that I can't even see them anymore. And yet they're clearly marked on Google Maps. Where is this trail? It has to be here? Where? Well, no wonder I missed it, because, believe it or not, this is it right here. That's the trail. And I'll take a screenshot of Google Maps just so I can show you what it is I've been looking at all this time. And then maybe you can understand my confusion, because this footpath on Google Maps does not look like a footpath at all. I'll show you in Google Maps. You can see on that screenshot from Google Maps, way down at the bottom, that's the Buddhist temple that I'm trying to get to. And I think I can be forgiven for assuming that that line going there is a road, when in fact it is what I'm walking on right now. It is this footpath. So how in the world, I ask you, does this footpath that I'm on end up in Google Maps marked so clearly? How in the world? That is crazy. Oh boy. I'm not sure if I go that way or this way. One would assume this way. I'm starting to think I may not make it to this temple at all. The route is not clear. right, let's do this other map check again. Well, I am honestly really confused at this point because I think this is the trail. There's no way this is the main access to this temple. Can't be. It's pretty steep, I'll tell you that. Much steeper than that trail going up to the Mae Sot cave. It's kind of funny having these plants growing all around me because they're so tall. I can't really see where I am. They're like growing over my head. Shady spot. Ooh, a little bit of a view behind me. So that's Mae Sot. You can see that cluster of higher buildings there. That is Mae Sot proper. You get a nice view from here. So even if I don't make it to the temple, at least I get a nice view of the countryside. It's funny, you'd think from Mae Sot I could see this hill, but I don't think I've ever been aware of any hills out here. Like looking off in the distance over here. Don't think I've ever seen this hill. I'm gonna stop in this shady spot for just a second. And if I thought the trail leading up to Mae Sot cave was hard to figure out, that one was easy compared to this. You really have to look around to find this trail. And to be honest, I don't think I'm even, I don't think I'm on it anymore. There's just a hint of a trail. And I think I'm supposed to be heading up there to those trees up there, but this trail is not heading upwards, it's just heading sideways. That's a shady tree where I was resting for a second. I wonder if there's another trail that I missed that goes straight up. You definitely find things in the weirdest places. Like why and how is this drum right here? And have someone built a little bench right here? Because maybe they came down here to have a smoke at the end of the day and just look out over the valley. And yeah, no idea where the trail is. I'm just sort of stumbling uphill for want of any other direction to go in. True jungle now, and I'm very close to giving up because at this rate, at this speed, I'm never going to get anywhere. And I'm eventually going to have to turn around and go all the way back in the same direction. Oh my God. No. Look at this. It's like a solid wall. I have no idea where I am. Yeah, I don't know where I am. I can see the trees just a little bit up ahead. Yeah. I don't know if I'm following a trail or just bushwhacking. Okay, just a little bit further, and see if things clear up. Whew, there has to have been an easier way, but I think that's pretty obvious, isn't it? I hate to do it, but I am admitting defeat on this particular day trip, or I should call it afternoon trip. Even if I fight my way to the top of this hill, there's no guarantee that there's going to be any clearer path onward to the temple. And at this pace, it would take me, I don't know, 2 hours or more to get there, at least, maybe even longer. So, no, I'm going to turn around, stumble back through this brush, try to get back to that trail, go back to my scooter, and I think just head back into town because, yeah, I'm not going to make it to this temple. I'm going to have to take another run at it somehow. There's got to be another way to get there. But as I said, Google Maps. Maybe I'll take a quick look at maps.me. I haven't checked that on this trip yet. I'll do that, see if it has any additional information. And then I'll make my call, whether I'm giving up or not. Well, this is one of those rare occasions when maps.me has far less information than Google Maps. According to maps.me, I am nowhere. It just shows me as a dot in the middle of just empty land, like just empty space with nothing here at all. No roads, no paths, no temples, no buildings, nothing at all. So maps.me was of no help. I'm calling it, heading back down and back into Mae Sot. Luckily, I have an ice-cold vanilla Coke waiting for me in my fridge back at the guest house. And that's going to taste very good after the end of this little adventure. Turning around, heading back into the bush. So, there's the view of the valley. Of course, now I'm in that situation where going down a steep slope is actually quite a bit more challenging than going up. And the weird thing is, now it actually looks like I was on a trail, but what you see in front of me there is the trail that I just made as I passed through. I pushed my way through here already and kind of made it look like a trail when it's not at all. But there are spots where some plants are knocked over, like this big bunch of plants are flattened here. So something or somebody came through and flattened these plants. So somebody was up on this slope, but I have no idea who. An animal, perhaps? Well, there's the tree. I want to work my way towards the tree, so let's not get too far. Whoa, 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 whoa. As I said, going down is quite a bit harder than going up. These plants are also really slippery when they bend over and I step on them. My foot just goes sliding down the length of the plant. Luckily, I have the landmark of this tree to guide me to go back. Otherwise, I'm not sure I could find my way again. Of course, all I really need to do is go down. but I'd rather go down in roughly the same direction that I came up. So I just have to keep veering towards this tree and keeping it in sight. Now I'm starting to wonder what that farmer was thinking about where I was going, because sort of the way he reacted to me, I got the impression that he thought what I was doing was perfectly reasonable. Oh, there's a foreigner. He's parking his scooter here and he's going to go walking down that trail. Of course, because he's going to the beautiful temple. He just seemed to think it was just normal for me to be doing what I was doing. But clearly, it isn't normal. So what did he think I was doing? I can't imagine. Maybe it was just one of those cases where they look at a foreigner like me and just kind of give up. Like, we have no idea what these people are doing with their days, with their time, why they do the things they do. So we don't question it. We just let them go about their day. Still heading down. Getting easier, though still pretty slippery under my feet. So I have to be very careful. I looked at Google Maps again, just trying to figure out this mystery, and I honestly can't figure it out, because the only road going to this temple is the one theoretically that I'm on, or coming at it from the other side, the same road, but coming out of that gravel pit. And both directions are completely impassable. So I don't know what to tell you. One thing I've noticed is that when I've been plotting routes here in Thailand, I often use satellite view so I can see the terrain. But the detail for Google Maps in Thailand is far less than in other places. So, for example, if I go back to my hometown in Canada on Google Maps on satellite view, I can zoom in and see incredible detail on the smallest things. Like, I can zoom in on the chairs sitting in somebody's backyard in my hometown. But when I zoom in on Thailand, as soon as you get to a certain height, it just blurs out. Everything just becomes blurry, and you can't see individual buildings. You can't see all these items that you can clearly see when you do the same thing in other countries using Google Maps. And I'm assuming, whoa, yikes, 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 yikes. I think I better stop talking at the GoPro. This is too slippery. I'm assuming the satellites have the same cameras and resolving power above Canada as they do above Thailand. So they see the same imagery, the same level of detail, and yet for some reason a choice has been made in Thailand to reduce the level of detail that's available. And is that a military thing, a security decision, something like that? I have no idea. It's something I've always wondered about. Because I keep zooming in on Mae Sot, for example, on Google Maps, and then I can never see anything very clearly. All right, I'm going to set the camera aside for a second. I'm in a particularly steep patch. Okay, I survived that section, and I think I'm pretty much back at my starting point, the main trail here. And I can start going back towards where my scooter is. At this point, to be honest, even if I did find a more direct route to the temple, I don't think I'd go there now. My energy levels are pretty low now for exploring. So even if I got to the temple, I don't think I'd be able to appreciate it. I'm so sweaty right now. And I'm covered from head to toe in plant life. Good thing I don't have plant allergies, because I'd be sneezing up a storm. All right. Chalk that up to a small adventure, I guess. I went off in search of a temple, but I found a gravel pit instead. But as I said, I find gravel pits pretty interesting, so I don't mind that at all. But I still have the remaining adventure of trying to figure out how to navigate that highway from here to get back to Mae Sot. There, at least, I think Google Maps will be able to help me out. So that's where I was going, way up there somewhere. But I could not find my way. I suppose if the stakes were life and death, and I had a machete, and I had days and provisions in which to do it, I could have hacked my trail and made it over the hill. But slightly different situation. I'm just a doofus tourist on a scooter. Wasn't really geared up for anything quite like that. Home sweet home. Ooh, I've just popped the GoPro off the scooter sticky mount. I figure I might as well end the video right here before I even take my helmet off. Got my visor down. Funny thing is, this visor is making me realize it's time to get a haircut again, because the wind gets under the visor, blows my hair around, and then my hair ends up right in my eyes all the time as I'm driving. When I don't have the visor down, my hair gets blown back, but as soon as I put the visor down, all my hair just ends up in my eyes. So it's very annoying. Time to get a haircut. Well, that was my adventure trying to find the temple. Didn't find it. I'm gonna have to regroup and try on another day. But I still enjoyed that little trip. That was a lot of fun. Trying to fight my way through the gravel quarry and then through the jungle, and I was defeated in both directions. Reminded me of, for some reason, I kept thinking of the African Queen, Humphrey Bogart, Katharine Hepburn, right? Starred with Humphrey Bogart. And if I remember right, Humphrey Bogart plays a Canadian in that movie, The African Queen, as they're trying to fight their way through the jungle in Africa on the boat, you know, the African Queen boat. Amazing movie. If you've never seen The African Queen, definitely check that out. And once you've seen one Humphrey Bogart movie, I guarantee you will go on and watch all of them. You know, The Desperate Hours, and on and on and on. All great movies. So I'll end my video for today right there with thoughts about Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey Bogart and haircuts and gravel quarries. And I'll see you in the next video.